Can you hear me? Good morning to the leadership of public safety. Acting HOD in absentia, Ms. Vicky Manyati. Acting Chief of Police, Mr. Jaka. Chief of EMS, Mr. Andres Cavella. Director of Licensing, Mr. Gesson, is he here? Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay, thanks. Director of ISC, Mr. Gogo, you're welcome. We want to welcome you to this media briefing as one of our key stakeholders. My name is David Tembe, a former Chief of JMPD and Public Safety, MMC. Current role, I am a strategic advisor to the MMC. So if there's anything that's happening, you make sure that you can't blame him, you'll blame me. He's got advice from me. Councillor Dr. Kinitseku, member of the Mayoral Committee, MMC, for Public Safety in Johannesburg, appointed in February 2023. He is a seasoned politician with a strong educational background, holding a Bachelor of Science in Applied Mathematics, Physics and Chemistry from the University of Fort Hare, and a Bachelor of Science and Masters of Science in Chemical Engineering from the University of Cape Town. He also has earned a PhD in Chemical Engineering from University of South Africa. Sako's political career spans from a decade with notable roles such as he was a member of Gauteng Provincial Legislature from 2014 to 2017. A member of National Assembly of South Africa, 2017 to 2023. As MMC for Public Safety, the doctor has launched initiatives like Manje Namhlanje, a crime and a grain-busting operation aimed at restoring order in Johannesburg inner city. He has also led an outreach program including a sanitary towel drive at Aurora Girls High School in Soweto. Sako's experience and qualification make him a strong fit for his role and his efforts as MMC for Public Safety. He has demonstrated his commitment to saving the people of Johannesburg. The MMC is going to unpack where we come from as public safety and where we are going to accomplish our mission, to embrace community-based, data-driven policing strategies and emphasize bid integrity, geographic accountability, the use of problem-solving techniques, and reliance data to identify threats, measure the results of our intervention, and to hold ourselves accountable to each other and our community. In close, allow me to introduce the MMC, Dr. Zako.
I think you can take your...
Oh, okay. You can continue.
No, thank you very much, strategic advisor, Mr. David Dembe. I think you must receive that. I just prophesy. You're going to be a doctor. Allow me to greet here this morning the acting HOD, Ms. Vicky Manyati, who today cannot be with us. There is a very serious meeting she's having with the COCTA. As you all know that we are integration, we're actually working with the province and the national in terms of aligning ourselves in terms of the crime fighting in the city of Johannesburg, so she's attending that meeting. Allow me to greet the Acting Chief of Police, Mr. Chata, that is here today with us, and the Chief of Fire, and the Acting Head of Disaster Management, Mr. Andres Makubele, the Director of Licensing, Mr. Keshom Chetty, the Director of IIOC, Mr. Gugu. This media briefing comes at a critical time as we address the unique public safety challenges emerging across our communities. With the festive season approaching, a period known for higher rates of theft, assault, and other crimes, our department is intensifying its effort to keep residents and business safe. Through targeted crime prevention initiatives and strategic resource deployment, we are prepared to manage this seasonal increase in criminal activity and enhance community safety. We've heard our community's concerns, which range from crime, food safety in the spice shops, emergency services, disaster, and the disaster responsiveness. We want to assure our communities that we are listening and we're taking proactive steps to meet their needs. Today's briefing will cover the department's activities and the progress that has been made from February 2023 to the end of September 2024. We will also take you through our key strategic approach in crime prevention, bylaw enforcement, and revenue enhancement. As a public safety, we derive our function from a prescribed legislation, guided and implemented through the policies and procedures recognized by the national, provincial, and local governments. Our core mandate is to provide safety and security to the citizens of Johannesburg. We deliver public safety through bylaw enforcement, crime prevention, traffic management, disaster management, Integrated Intelligent Operational Center known as the IIOC, governance and support, licensing services, and emergency management services. Our approach, the departmental approach to the public safety is as follows. We recognize the critical role that the police force is maintaining the law and order, enforcing bylaws and traffic laws, and ensuring that the citizens are safe and upholding human rights. Our approach to policing is based on an open, accountable, corrupt-free government, fostering a society free from fear of victimization by the state agencies. Our police officers are not our enemy in this department, but the strategic and the beneficial working relations has been established, focusing on fostering patriotism, loyalty to the country and to the people of South Africa, rather than to politicians and political officers. We approach crime fighting with the understanding that crime is a socio-economic issue, aiming to it must be eradicated by economically developing communities and providing quality jobs and careers to those involved in criminal activities. The department requires that at all material times, its employees must be highly disciplined, ethical, and selfless. At all material times, respect the citizens of the city of Johannesburg and be highly responsive to their needs. Upon the arrival of the office in February last year, 2023, almost all the employees of the Department of Public Safety, we met and they highlighted their challenges. We had community engagements in almost all the regions of the city. It was concluded that we could feel from the employees that the morale was very low upon the arrival of the department. And a moratorium was placed on the filling of vacancies to a point that the majority of the positions became unfunded due to non-filling of those positions. A lot of senior positions of the employees were in the acting positions. There were no progression of the employees. The PFA, which is the politically facilitated agreement, was not implemented. JMPD had no bullets, and many officers had no guns. The JMPD fleet was low, was old, and had a very high mileage, resulting in high maintenance costs. The traffic lights were malfunctioning due to load shedding and vandalism. There were no crime prevention and combating unit present where a bylaw management, there was no crime prevention and combating unit present. The present units were a bylaw management unit, operations, which were highly focused on traffic law enforcement and other specialized units. There was no aggressive law enforcement of the bylaws. Disaster management had no plan, no center, no proper office, and actually you can conclude there was no budget at all sufficient for them to operate. The fire engine contract was not concluded. The response time of those fire engines was a bit long. There were problems with the SLA between the COJ licensing unit and the provincial road transport, which is not yet been finalized due to the disagreement of the terms of conditions or the terms of reference within the SLA. So the key achievements, some of them that we had along this time was when we arrived that there were a lot of labor issues, grievances, there were suspensions. The situations now, since it has improved, through the mediation methods and forging good relations with labor. Standard operating procedures have been developed to improve efficiencies for procurement of goods and infrastructure development. Subcommittees have been set up to fast-track and organize the procurement process and to organize all the departmental events. There was a securing of funding for all the unfunded positions to increase the capacity of the department. We have appointed a finance director to stabilize the finances of the department. We have concluded a procurement process to carry out maintenance in the Department of Public Safety and all the other units therein. As you all know that most of the lifts are not working, roofs are leaking, toilets are not fully functional because of the maintenance contract that has been dragging for a longest of time. But that now has been sorted out. It's going to be starting in the next few weeks. On the JMPD side, we are in the process of filling the vacancy of the Chief of Police. It's only the competency of the candidate that has been, is the competency test now that is outstanding, and the candidate needs to be assessed. All job descriptions of the directors, deputy director, chief superintendents, superintendent, inspector, sergeants were signed off and are going to be advertised in the next few weeks. There's been an appointment of the Director of Security and Liaison to ensure that procurement process in the JMPD is efficient. It has been noted that JMPD tried to fill the positions of the sergeant. This is the matter that has been on the media all the time. But the HR process expired while the vetting process was in progress. This now has resulted that we must go back and re-advertise those posts so that the same process now can be actually followed. This also happened during the the appointment or the filling of the vacancies for the traffic wardens and the patroller positions. The HR process, even they expired. That one, it was due to the budgetary constraint of the city. We're waiting for the budget to be available so that we can hire the 300 traffic wardens and patrollers that we have interviewed and vetted. But while waiting for those budgets to really come through in the department, the HR process expired. So meaning that now we must go back again and re-advertise. And I'm glad to say that there's about plus minus 180 traffic wardens now, at least, that we're going to be able to advertise, because we've got 180 traffic wardens that have been working now. They've went into academy to become MPOs. So we've got a space now and the funding to really continue with the process. We'd like to apologize to all those candidates that have actually applied on the positions, but it's just that it is the HR process that it was actually beyond our control. Brand new cars of the JMPD have been rolled out. Thank you to the MMC Masuku from the GSSC and her team. They've been very helpful in terms of ensuring that the JMPD, they actually got the new cars being rolled out. JMPD officers have been issued now with bullets, and now they can go to the shooting range, because it is required by the law that every 3 months they must go and practice the shooting. The procurement process to purchase guns have been concluded, because for some time, plus minus almost 800 police MPOs did not have guns. And we did not want to say that to you because we are going to compromise the safety of our officers. But I'm glad that that process has been concluded. Suppliers is about to be assigned the contract, and the JMPD officers will have guns. We have launched a campaign called #Manje Namhlanje to fight crime and crime, and targeting targeting the enhanced restoration of law and order and bylaw enforcement in the inner city. The following enforcements were carried out: high-impact raids in hijacked buildings such as Vinen Court, Casamia, Florence, and Ramington, etc. Dismantling of illegal mining, Amazamazam, at Amatole, Jerusalem, Rivoli, and Solplaki, and all the other areas. We've carried out search and seizure operations in Alex, Deep Sloat, Ivory Park, Orange Farm, Windsor, CBD, Yeovil, Beria, Hillbrow, and all the other areas within the city. We have shut down liquor outlets in an operation called Nightlife, especially in Deep Sloat, Alexandra, Inner City, CBD, Yeovil, Hillbrow, and other areas within the city. And we have observed that once you shut down these the so-called illegal liquor outlets, criminal activity actually starts to really go down, because people are not going out at night, they are sitting at home. And that actually helped a lot, especially in Deep Sloat, when there was a lot of killing of people there. The only solution was to ensure that we close those the taverns, so that these criminals do not go into those areas there and start to shoot people. Through the EMS, there's been inspection of the gas bottles. We've done raids in Eldorado Park, Westbury, Rivoli, to dismantle drug dens and gangsterism. We've carried out road safety campaigns, festive season and Easter weekend safety campaigns. We've done inspections of spaza shops and shutting down some, again, illegal taverns. By the end of November 2023, we have established a JMPD TRU. It's called the JMPD Tactical Reaction Unit. It's a crime-busting unit. For the first time in JMPD, as my chief will say, that since the inception of JMPD, Director, there's only the unit that was established was the BMU, you had that's BMU, there's operation that will deal mainly with the traffic. But, of course, you had a specialized units like K9 that were fighting with crime, but there was no crime-busting unit that said this one is really dedicated in the fighting of crime. So we've managed to launch that through the leadership that is sitting here. And for the first time in history that JMPD has that unit. And the function of this unit was to deal with the hijackings, the kidnappings, cash in transit, drug and gang-related crimes. The establishment of this unit became a force multiplier with SEPs, and it was deployed in the high crime areas such as the CBD, Hillbrow, Yeoville, Langlaagte, Honeydew, everywhere to really go and fight crime. However, more work needs to be done in Ivory Park, Orange Farm, and the GP, because according to the SEP crime stats, there seems to be a slight increase in terms of the crime that is there. And I'm happy to report, because most of the media houses did not report this. In the city of Johannesburg, if you look at the period when the JMPD TRU was launched, they started working from end of November 2023, December 2023, January, February, March. And we recently received the stats. So when we receive that, you find that there is a decline, there's a slight decline in terms of the crime, especially in the CBD, Hillbrow, Yeoville, and all of that. You can see that it's actually green, meaning that that unit working with SEPs, there is some spin-offs or some successes that we're actually getting there. We can see that in terms of the reports that we're receiving as well, the confiscation of guns, the raids that they were doing in terms of drugs, and also they were able to intercept stolen vehicles and recover them. So that was actually very, very good for those guys. So this unit is still there and it's still working very well. And then there was a JMPD traffic pointsman. They were hired to improve the urban traffic flow. This happened because there was a load shedding, and also there's a traffic light malfunctioning due to vandalism. Of course, more still to really happen, because you still find that there are some vagrants, homeless people that are directing traffic in other areas. It means that we need to increase more of these, the pointsmen, because most of these traffic lights, some of them are not working. And I want to say it here that if you look at the traffic lights, these traffic lights, you'll find that in a certain street, especially in Winnie-Madikizela Road, those traffic lights, mainly it's a provincial competence. And there are other areas where it's the municipal competency. So we have heard that the Department of Transport, they're having an engagement with the province so that all the traffic lights that are in the CBD, they become the competency of the municipality, because some of them, they've been taking too long to really fix. So I think that those engagement from MMCK and also the province are actually happening. Service level agreement for repairs and maintenance has been signed so that the maintenance can actually commence. You can agree with me, colleagues, that we have a serious problem here in the public safety of the maintenance. So we're glad that that's going to happen. And on the EMS, the Chief of Police, Mr. Anders Magwele, was appointed to stabilize the EMS. And we're seeing the fruits of that now, because at least now EMS department is starting to really turn around. We are really happy about that. And subsequently to his appointment, because now if you are acting, you don't have that kind of strength or that force to really effect the change. Because you're saying that if you start being militant, and you're starting to implement your strategies and start shifting people, you might act and then you might not act again. Then the people are going to go after you. So that's why it's important that people must actually be, the people must be appointed on a permanent basis. So 1 director, 5 station commanders and academy tutors were appointed subsequent to that. The EMS uniforms and structural firefighting uniform were issued. New cars and radios were issued. The dispatch time has improved since the EMS chief has been appointed. It was also due to the acquiring of a dedicated number separate from that of the city's central telephone number. Currently, if you call inside, you go into the central number, then you have to be directed into the public safety. So you can be in an accident, or you need a bylaw enforcement, or you are in a criminality environment and you need help. So you'll go direct into the central telephone number of the city, where it deals with the issues of potholes and other service delivery issues. So when we came in, we advised that, can we please have a dedicated number for safety, because it's a safety environment and it's an emergency. We can't be waiting and all of that. So that looks as if, Chief, it has yielded anyway some, these results. The procurement of the fire engine is at the advanced stage, and it's at the adjudication stage. The service level agreement for repairs and maintenance has been signed, so that the maintenance is able to commence. The furniture of the fire stations is being bought, and they should be sitting in the new furniture as we actually proceeding with this financial year. On the disaster side, the council has approved the level 1 disaster management plan for the city. The disaster management center has been established. All procurement processes that hinder the unit purchase of the much needed relief items such as food parcels, mattresses and building materials have been unlocked, and the procurement is actually proceeding. The unit has received its budget allocation after some time of requesting it and not able to really get it. And also we have there's been an assignment now of a disaster spokesperson led by Dr. Roy, who's been very instrumental in terms of pushing most of the communication, the research of the department, and trying to really turn around this department so that it can be, functional. These are one of the departments we found it on the ground, and when we came here, we told them that we discussed with the leadership that we need to pull it back. We need to ensure that it is functional. Give them a home, like a central office, where from the central office they are able to do their work, and then they can have some satellite offices as well. We've allocated them an office just below the EMS on the ground floor. So it's fully operational, and I know that there's something good coming, because now they are working hand in hand with the weather services to really look at the prediction of weather patterns. They have also been working very close with the universities to do some predictive models on the disaster that can happen. Here in the city of Johannesburg, we are faced now with a new disaster that is waiting to happen, which is what is called a seismic activity, in other words, earthquake. So they have been in contact with the people, with the guys from the geoscience to look into that, so that they can check how much risk scale is those earthquakes and what impact are they going to do with the structure that is there. On licensing, the director of licensing has been appointed. So as you can see that we are trying to eliminate these acting positions. When it came in, we just came in and said this acting position must be taken out. So the director of licensing has been appointed to stabilize this department, and he's been doing an excellent job. 3 assistant directors have been appointed. The fleet cars, they've been rolled out so that they are able to do outreach programs. there's an opening of a deep sleuth licensing station. And then also there was an aggressive educational program that was rolled out. The licensing track was launched to bring the services to the remote areas. The service provided on site include the renewal of motor vehicle disc, PDRPS, and normal driver licensing application. The track was launched in Sepisong and showcased at the Rain Easter Show. In both of these areas, a lot of revenue was generated. This mobile unit provides the convenient services for motorists, including vehicle license, disc and renewal, and the traffic payments. The revenue collected by this department, it has been overachieved in the last financial year and also in the first quarter. So they are actually performing very well. And I wish that I told to my director of licensing that it will be nice, because we are an agent of the province, that I said maybe when we sign the SLA, once we have achieved the target, we want the money that we generate over and above that to come to us. Because currently we have a 20-80 split. So with a 100 rand that we are making, the city gets 20 rand and the province gets 80 rand. And we feel that it is not fair at all. Because in that 20 rand, we still have to, the consumables we have to buy there. We still have to, buy toners and papers and all of that. So in that 20 there, I think that it's an historical percentage. That does not take into account the inflation rate and all those things. So we really appeal to the province. We're going to have a bilateral agreement or a bilateral meeting with the province so that we can review the percentage split on the profit, because it's putting a strain on us. And the things have got very expensive. That 20% was like during those, maybe over about 20 years ago, but it's long. It's been very long. So we really have to get that in order, because currently, as I understand that, there is a deadlock in terms of the signing of the SLA between us and the province. And I think that one of the things that we should be raising with the Premier and also with the MEC Mamabolo Kokta, because every Tuesday we have an integration meeting that we're having with the province. So there was a launch of a vehicle safety campaign in partnership with the taxi industry and the scholar transport. And the scholar transport was offered a free assessment that day, and many faults were found. Meaning that we invite all the scholar transport, taxis, and all the other cars which are not roadworthy. Because as I'm having here Mr. Tembe, he has advised me that every day we should be impounding or towing away almost 50 taxi or 50 cars a day if they don't comply. So we urge all our people to ensure that their cars are proper and they are in a good condition. We urge all the taxi and the scholar transport to come for assessment before the vehicle is impounded, of which a hefty fine will have to be paid. On the IOC side, a director of the IOC Command Center has been appointed. Mr. Cook is here. This is also further enhancing oversight and operational efficiency in our surveillance camera unit. For too long, that unit did not have a director. It has been very difficult, but we managed to overcome all the obstacles. Now the IIOC has a director. It's proper. So we are going to start seeing some, most of the cameras which have been established by the city to be starting to really work. We've signed a service-level agreement with Vumacam, granting us access to close to 5,600 additional visuals across the city. That SLA was signed last year. It's doing very well. And there's a lot of success that we're seeing. The cars which have been, recovered through that camera, and crime that has been stopped. There were some criminals that were saw through those footages and all of that. So the surveillance cameras to be monitored by the communities. The surveillance cameras to be monitored by the communities and patrollers were launched in Finetown, reinforcing our commitment to crime prevention in the city. This was in the light that during the rollout of the surveillance cameras in the city of Johannesburg, there was no consideration of the townships. So we had to really have some of the portable cameras to be put in the hotspots in the township, where now those visuals could be seen in the IOC center. Also, the communities were able to see those visuals in their phones. And as you know that in those communities, you've got the patrollers. So the patrollers will also be able to use those. So we will roll those in Finetown, and more are still going to be rolled out in the areas like in Soweto, Ivory Park, Zandspruit, where we have promised that we are going to roll them out. So the beginning of November, that process is going to happen. We also completed a pilot for an automated response system, setting the stage for a faster and more effective response. So what it means that in the command center, the camera will pick up any crime that is being that has been done, and then you are able to see where is a vehicle, a patrolling vehicle around the area. Then you are able to click on that, and then it sends a signal into the car, and the car will be able to detect that signal and go into the crime area. So those are the pilot that we've actually done. So the immediate new priorities of the city of Johannesburg and public safety. Ladies and gentlemen, we are launching now a campaign called Noma Kanjani. Noma Kanjani manje namhlanje. This campaign will be officially launched tomorrow. It's a brainchild. We were talking with Mr. Tembe here in terms of the rebranding and revitalization in terms of this campaign. So the city's priorities are crime prevention and combating, bylaw enforcement, and revenue enhancement. These are the priorities of the city at this point in time. And with this campaign of Noma Kanjani manje namhlanje, we are actually now zooming it in, we are enhancing it, we are putting in a lens on them and amplifying it to ensure that this campaign becomes a success. The city has been battling with crime, especially in the inner city, and as a result, many companies are threatening to move out of the city and go somewhere else. We know that some of the companies, like the Standard Bank, has been threatening to move. I think one of the wings has decided to really move out of the area. So this Noma Kanjani manje namhlanje is targeting the inner city, cleaning it up. Yeoville, Hillbrow, Beria, city center, and all of that. To ensure that we attend to crime that is happening in the city, bylaw enforcement, and also we'll do the revenue enhancement in terms of any car that is not roadworthy, you did not renew your disc, or you are infringing on bylaws, or going to give you a fine, or some of your cars will be pounded and taken away. Meaning that there must be a compliance in the city. No parking as if you are crazy in the head. You must park in the designated areas, or else your car will be given a disc and it will be towed away. Also, there are some taxis who are appealing to the taxi owners. Some of the taxis are not roadworthy. We are coming to the city there, and some of those taxis will have to impound them, unfortunately, because they are not roadworthy. And some of them are breaking the law in terms of going to the yellow line, going on curbs, and that must come to an end, because we are going to give you a ticket and it's not going to be very nice. So we are warning each and every individual that is going to be in the inner city. Of course, it's not going to be in the inner city alone, but we will do other areas as an element of the surprise. So if you don't want to find yourself outside the law, you must ensure that you comply. Noma kanjalo. So what we did in terms of the crime prevention, the following units have been combined into what is called an amalgamated crime prevention unit. We've got the newly established TRU, which is operating very well. But now we found that we've got the rear via unit. That is there. It's working in the morning and something like then it just patrols and check the cars, and then in the afternoon. So we think that resource we can use it as a multiplier as well to combine with the TRU. We've got a taxi violence unit. If there's no violence, what do? We said, come and join this crime prevention unit. We've got an infrastructure unit. We said, I think that you should be coordinated properly because we still see traffic lights being chopped, and then we see some of the people carrying those traffic lights with them. We said to them, come to this amalgamated crime prevention unit. And we've got the freeway patrol unit that is there as well, and the crowd management unit. Crowd management unit, when there is no protest and everything, we said to them, you can come to this amalgamated crime prevention unit as a force multiplier because we need to go and saturate the inner city and clean it up. So all this unit now, it's the newly established TRU unit, the rear via unit, the taxi violent unit, crowd management unit, infrastructure unit, freeway unit, all combined into what is called an amalgamated crime busting unit. And of course, this unit is not going to be doing crime prevention and combating alone. We're saying that because they are a tri-band. Tri-band means that they must do traffic law enforcement, bylaw enforcement, and crime fighting as well. It doesn't mean that if you are doing crime, you can't enforce bylaws. So these units will be deployed in the inner city. And we're going to saturate it. And every individual must be searched. There will be no anarchy that will be tolerated. And the officers have been told that if any person points a gun at the officer, the police must shoot to kill. We don't play. On bylaw enforcement, the JMPC is at the forefront of ensuring that the bylaw enforcement employs all the manner and ensuring that the set regulations of the city are regulations of the city are observed. Its enforcement program incorporates regular patrols, focused operations, which also include the issuance of fines whenever there is a contravention of the bylaws. There are bylaws that are being enforced by the JMPD alone, without other departments, such as the animal law, which regulates the animal ownership, including pest registration, stray animals, and the bylaws of the streets, of the traffic. All the other bylaws, we need to educate our communities, Mr. Tem, on the bylaws. Other bylaws, such as the informal traders, informal trading bylaw, illegal dumping bylaw, outdoor advertising bylaw, illegal connection of water bylaw, electricity bylaw, public health bylaw, environmental health bylaw. Those bylaws, they have the other department must do inspections and all of that. But of course, we from time to time we accompany them because when they do the inspections, they actually get intimidated. Others, we heard that some others have been robbed. So it has been over the years a sort of a multidisciplinary approach. So people, they're always blaming JMPD every single time. JMPD every single time. There are bylaws that we can do ourselves. But there are other bylaws that we need other departments to really come on board. But I'm happy now that through the engagement of CRAM in the city, so CRAM will be working with us, with the JMPD, because CRAM has all these departments in there, which is your building control is there, your environmental health inspectors are there, outdoor advertisement inspectors are there, environmental health for spaza shop, they are all there. So the only thing that we need now is the realignment. So we've been having meetings with them, and we're happy that they want to come on board. One of the reasons that make BMU ineffective is that most of the officers of the JMPD are deployed in these entities. So meaning that we cannot account in terms of the work that's being done. Because when they come to work, they just go and be deployed in the entities. We can't see in terms of what is happening with the bylaws and all of that. Because sometimes you look, but these bylaws of the outdoor is not a lot, or maybe the illegal connection of water, it does not happen on a daily basis, not a lot. But the bylaws which are being infringed now is a bylaw of illegal dumping, which is a hot topping, as you speak, like in Kaya Sands, Homestead, and Parkhurst Bowling Club, all the other areas where you find that the reclaimers are putting all these places everywhere. And then also you've got informal trading, because informal traders are allocated spaces to trade. There are bylaws said you cannot just put there, you trade anyway. So you find that now there are those bylaws which are tipping the chart that all of us, we must come and do the work. So moving forward, all the bylaw units, we've decided with the chief that all the bylaw units must parade at the same point and target identified areas. We need to have a parade, do a roll call, and they must be deployed from a central point. And if the other units are looking for them, they can send a request and then they can go. We know that a certain number of people have gone for illegal connection or illegal water connection and all of that. Otherwise, if there's no operation in those entities, everyone must be focusing on the other bylaws, which is your informal traders or your illegal dumping there as well. So on the revenue enhancement, the city is focusing on the generation of the revenue, and the Public Safety Department has looked into its operation, such as the abuse of overtime and the car fuel optimization. The following units have been reviewed and given a target to generate revenue. Those units are the speed unit, the tracing unit, the events, and the academy. These are the challenges that we're actually having is to convert these infringements into money, because some of the we had a problem with the post office, because the post office, when you have a fine, you must send it to the post office and then people must be notified. At this point in time, we've lost a lot of revenue, Chief, because of that. So Chief will actually, will be able to clarify more on that, because the post office was liquidated. So most of those tickets, the speed tickets and the tickets that were received from the speed cameras, we have not processed most of them because the post office is not operational. So we've lost a lot of revenue on that. But there is a proposal in place that we need to change this legislation so that we don't have to use the post office alone, but we can notify the offenders using SMSs, using emails, and all those kind of things. So in conclusion, today we've highlighted our key initiatives and achievements in the crime prevention, bylaw enforcement, and revenue enhancement. But more still needs to be done. And hence, the launch of Noma Kanjani, Manje Namhlanje campaign is to amplify the initiative to reclaim the inner city, so that we are able to ensure that businesses do not leave the inner city. Everyone is there. A war room has been established. It will be meeting on a weekly basis from 9 o'clock up until 12 o'clock, where those units will be reporting individually in terms of what have they done in terms of crime prevention, bylaw and enforcement, and how much revenue have we made in a 7-day period. So that we've started this week. It is actually happening as we speak now. We invite all the stakeholders, residents, business, community leaders, law enforcement, to join us in these efforts. through the collaboration and active engagement, we can build a safer Johannesburg. We encourage everyone to stay informed, report any concerns, and participate in the community forums to strengthen our collective impact. Above all, we reaffirm our commitment to a safe and secure and orderly Johannesburg. Our department remains steadfast in its dedication to public safety, transparency, and accountability. We strive to build a city where every resident feels protected, empowered, proud to call Johannesburg a home. A journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. We are happy that in closing, we've been having a lot of meetings with other stakeholders. The province has come on board, wanting to assist in all other issues. Every Tuesday, we are having a meeting with the MXC for Kokta, Ms. Mamabon, also that is chaired by the Premier, to realign and ensure that we attack the inner city. Because we decided that let us put all politics aside for the sake of service delivery. Because our people are dying, we need to fight crime with whatever we have. We do welcome the working together. We must fight these bylaws and ensure that they are enforced. On that note, I'd like to thank you very much.
Thanks so much, MMC. It will be time for question time. But before we do that, I just want to add to what the MMC has just said. We have got 7 regions. And in terms of the 7 regions, we have got deputy directors in those 7 regions. And we have established a war room whereby the commanders of those 7 regions will be accountable for those issues. The bylaws, especially our concern, which is illegal dumping, where our children are fed with most of poisonous stuff that you can find in those illegal dumping. The fatalities on our roads in terms of speeding, 2, drunken driving, 3, reckless and negligent driving. Those are our operations that the MMC was talking about. And the other issues that we have to look at is the crime prevention, especially in the inner city, but not forgetting the township. Crime is everywhere. Crime has escalated. It is therefore our responsibility to ensure that we establish special units so that we can target. We can't have officers who go all out and not being responsible for some certain thing. I'll give you an example. Special Unit 4, the same which we're talking about, the MMC, talks about the issue of the bylaws. You need to have a special unit. If you've got 300 officers, when they wake up in the morning, they must know that they are going to do bylaws. Freeway, we must know that they are going to deal with that. It's a special unit. So we are creating the special units that will focus. We'll use the spear. If you use the spear, you focus and then you hit at the target. But if you use the fish net, you take all the crabs and all those other things. Yeah. So that's how we're going to do it. So I'll allow the media to ask questions, and after that, you can have one-on-one with the MMC. But let's get the questions. Thank you very much.
Very good morning. My name is Vicky Sadango. I'm a media personality looking at what's around media on a subcontractual basis, but also the Homestead Park Community Forum Vice Chairperson. And this is not a question. Okay. I would love to commend the MFC of Public Safety for his proactivity. Last week, we did a documentary on the issues faced in the Homestead Park area. And a small little suburb like this has been going through so many issues. Illegal immigrants, cows in the park, a gas line that is literally ready to erupt because we have illegal immigrants building fires on those gas lines. And just by sending this particular documentary out that I had presented, I must commend the Office of the Public Safety and Dr. Tswaku. He's come out, I think within 2 days, literally, of us sending that particular documentary out, came in on his own capacity, looked at the issues. We have something like about 200 illegal immigrants staying in the park itself, creating major crime. And within that 2-day period, he came in his own capacity, came to see the area, engaged with the people, and it really meant a lot for us. We even received a message from you, Mr. Tembe, on X, and for us to have seen that proactivity really means something, to see that this particular narrative has been changed in many directions. So I really want to commend you. Thank you so much.
So most of the people call him a man of action. No, it's a man on fire. It's not a man, it's a man on fire. Thank you very much. Any question?
Good morning, Liebe.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Thank you for the presentation. It gives us a bird's eye view of what we can expect. My question is, there's been an increasing number of incidents where children have been poisoned over the past few months. How does the Bylaw plan to, is that going to fall under some of the targets in terms of the operation, in terms of addressing especially the issue of informal traders, because it's normally a situation where informal traders have been places where children have been buying goods from, that we have seen over the past few months. The tragic consequences of that. I think the country as a whole is concerned about how that will be tackled, and that's my first question. My second question is, recently there was an agreement signed in terms of combining the cities with regards to SAPS, in terms of operating, in terms of bolstering the SAPS plan, in terms of countering crime over the festive season. My question to you about that is, how is that going?
Do you have the next question? Anansi?
Yes. Okay. Okay. I'm going to give to the chief to answer the one of the integration. Christmas.
Okay.
This is now Kuluma on media.
Thank you for the question, and good morning to everybody. In terms of the integration, there is an implementation plan meeting that it's underway with the province, the premier, the province, ourselves, and national as well in terms of SERVs. So the meeting will be held in order to come with an implementation plan. Thank you.
No, thank you very much. Yes, on the issue of the poisoning of the kids, we're going to be working with CRAM because the issue of spaza shops, that bylaw rests with the public health under MMC Amy Makufela. So through CRAM, we're able to work together so that you can able to do inspections. But the report that we saw, preliminary one, is that they're pointing to what is called an organophosphate, some poisoning, red poisoning, which is there, which probably in the hypothesis that we're thinking is that in the area there's a lot of rats there. So someone might have got, due to whatever, because you see the problem is that what we're having is that the spaza shop people, they buy those chips sealed, properly packaged. But when they get into the spaza shops, they open them up and repackage them again. Now the question is the place safe? Is the place clean? But that inspection is being carried out now by MMCA under public health. So these special units on bylaw will be working with them. For example, on the informal traders, we're going to work with MMC Nomoy because it falls under economic development. You don't want to step other people's toes. But obviously, sometimes I just become crazy and then do it. And then if you go to the other, what's called the outdoor advertisement, it's under MMC Unism thing. So I've engaged with her as well that this is the initiative that we're going to do. And CRAM, which is that body which has got all these inspectors, it falls under MMC Masuku. So as you can see, Bylaw is an integrated, multidisciplinary. It's not one person. You can be there as a JMPD. You want to enforce the bylaw on noise, but people will ask you, are you an expert of the noise? Where's the expert of the noise? You need that thing of odometer to check the decibels. So you need to be going with someone from environmental health. Yeah. So that's why that it was very good for us that for all this time we must engage as colleagues and work together and have a plan. So I've engaged most of them. So with this plan that we're going to do all this bylaw inspection. Thank you very much.
Any more questions? So it means we have covered everything. To add to what the MMC has spoken about, this poisoning of children and spaza shops, we are looking at introducing a multidisciplinary operations. That means that you have to bring all those stakeholders, SAPS, health, economic development, and you have to bring again immigration, so that all those issues are being dealt with that one special unit that covers everything that we are going to talk about. If you find that, if you bring EMS will be able to look at, do they comply with escape routes? So it must be all. But what I like what we have discussed is that we need to have that special unit. For an example, in Soweto we have got about 30 or 33.
33 watts.
Yeah, I'm talking about health.
38 watts.
Yeah.
8 watts.
So we need to have a look and target these places, and we were able to deal with it. But each and every, you see, we can't go as Metro Police and go and check poisoning of this, because we are not trained to have a look at that. So we must have specialists. Immigration, there's a lot of issues when you look at immigration. You can't just go there, so we need to have that. We had a meeting with immigration 2 years ago. They are prepared to assist us nationally and provisionally. Thank you very much. I think you are done. If there's no more question.
Asking the chief anything to emphasize.
Is there anything, Chief? Cooks? There's nothing.
Like to talk to the meeting.
Okay. Thanks so much. Thanks for coming. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Oh,
There's something. We have got a cold drink at the back.
You must invite them to the launch tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow we're having a launch so that what we are talking about will be able to put up, so that talk is cheap. What you expect us to do the job. Let the job talk for us, not us talking before. So let the job, from tomorrow, you'll be able to know that we are not going only to talk. While we are going to specialize in the inner city, we are still going to take care of all the 7 regions. Thank you very much. Cold drinks at the back.
Thank you. Hey,
Where's Kara?
I will offline. Hey, this guy. I will offline.
Okay.
They didn't update your thing. They didn't update you.